Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself. I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for being with us on the program. JJ and Alex. I'm Alex. He's JJ. JJ, you stayed up late last night. Why? Now, we stay up late every night.
Yeah, it's kind of the nature of the job, but how many of you out there are suffering right now because of the sleep you sacrificed in order to watch
I think the real problem that people have with
special game last night?
The problem that people have with games like last night is they got sucked into watching it, and they don't actually have they're not fans of the Dodgers or the Blue Jays necessarily, right? We have I don't know, who's worse, the Lakers fan or the pop-up Dodgers fan? You know what I mean?
It's the same guy.
It's the same person.
It really is. I've been with the Dodgers since I was a kid. Sure you have.
I don't think I'm sure they have not. But at the same time, the reason they're tired today, if you're a Dodgers fan, you're not tired. If you're a Blue Jays fan, and heaven forbid you were watching it on that East Coast time,
what
which
a gut punch.
The game ended at almost 3 a.m., then you're feeling it. And then when you lose, you get even more tired because the depression is also deep down. Welcome to sports fandom. That's what happens. If your team goes to a 3 a.m. game, like, you're watching the whole thing, right? There's part of you that goes.
Oh, you're on the edge of your seat.
It's the novelty of going.
And then the adrenaline you had to have running through your veins once the game ended that had to simmer down.
The novelty of, oh my gosh, I'm watching a game right now. It's almost 3 a.m. This is the team that I follow. Like, what am I doing?
And this means everything to me right now.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you have your heart ripped out from you and you feel like you want to die.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you don't get those kinds of things very often. I mean, the sports equinox was yesterday. It was a little bit of a bummer because if we had the Mammoth playing on the road last night versus tonight, you had the Jazz playing. By the way, the Jazz go to overtime. The Dodgers go to 18 innings with the Blue Jays in Game 3 of the World Series. You have Shohei Ohtani, who's having the best stretch that anybody in the history of the sport has had. Is that being too?
No, I don't think.
And he pitches tonight. His last 7 at-bats in
8 home runs ties Corey Seager for the most, I think, in postseason history. So
he might have 8.
And he pitches on top of that.
I know.
And what he did in the last series.
I'm telling you, you're going to see something.
The game where he hit 3 home runs and pitched and struck out how many batters?
Yes, and he's going to do the same thing, the same type of thing he's going to do from the mound. The only thing that he could do to top this, and he would become the best athlete, the greatest athlete that we've ever seen, if he were to do what he's doing in the World Series now and then throw like a no-hitter. Throw a no-hitter, and you go into sports lore that I feel like that there are times as a person who follows sports, we look at it and we go, it's all kind of been accomplished, you know? During at some point in your lifetime, amazing things have happened. You can't top things that Michael Jordan did. You can't top things that early 2000s Tiger did. You can't top the things that Muhammad Ali did. And yet, in baseball, a sport that we revere names that are from 100 years ago, we don't need to do that anymore because the best player in the sport's history is playing right now. And you're not even a Dodgers fan. You just have to accept the fact that this guy is doing stuff that no one's ever done before. Am I being hyperbolic?
No. Their manager, John Schneider, just confirmed last night that they're not going to pitch to him for the rest of the World Series. They're going to walk him every time. They're done.
They're
done.
That is so...
His first 4 plate appearances last night, 2 home runs, 4 extra base hits.
Yeah.
And then he walked 5 straight times.
And on top of that,
9 plate appearances.
Yeah.
9.
Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I mean, and it goes back to other prior games, and he just is doing this crazy historic stuff. You know what? if he's not going to get pitched to, then why not throw the no-hitter, the historic no-hitter? Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? You get a World Series?
It's too much to ask and expect, but it's not impossible.
I know.
Which should tell you all you need to know about his status as the GOAT. There's never been or will be. I don't know.
And
there's
yet
never
his teammate,
been a player as good as him.
And yet his teammate, Freddie Freeman, is considered "quote unquote" Mr. World Series by all accounts and by their play-by-play voice.
He did something last night that's never been done. He's the first player in Major League history with multiple walk-off home runs in World Series.
I think it's funny. After the game, they interviewed his dad, and they're like, "What do you think when your son is the first person ever to hit multiple game-winning walk-off home runs in the World Series ever in the history of baseball in the World Series?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's kind of stuff you dream about when your kids are playing Little League Baseball." I was like, No, I don't.
Okay.
I've never dreamt that. I get my kid up there to the bat, up to the plate, and you go,
I just dream that he makes contact with the
please,
ball.
please don't get hurt or whatever. Like, no parents sitting up there going, "Gosh, it would just be my dream if he could hit multiple walk-off home runs in the World Series one day." Honey, I think he's going to be the first one ever to do it.
Maybe that would explain why our kids aren't accomplishing those goals.
Listen.
It's our lack of vision.
Don't worry. There's the amount of parents that are out there that are wishing way too much for their kids in sports.
Oh, my gosh.
All right? Settle down.
I witness it every day.
Just settle down. All right, we've got lots to get through on the program, and not the least of which is all the stuff that we've mentioned and more. But let's get going on the program officially. We've got so many things to tackle today, so many things to jump on top of because it is the busiest month of sports as it is every year. It's the most important month of sports every year. Sly, you heard me say it. April has got nothing on October. Let's get this thing going with the cut. Let's jump in right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program, TRAJAN Wealth.com. That's Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement, TrajanWealth.com. Okay, so I don't know why we would get into the predicting game now because we've been so freaking bad at it. I say I think anybody who watches college football has to be honest with themselves and say, didn't see that happening, right?
Yeah.
And I think that the teams that are having success this year are an indicator, and I had this conversation with Mitch Harper earlier today in the hallways, maybe even something that might come up on 1st and 12 tonight, but I said, he gets so set on, man, this conference, Big 12 needs to have like a bell cow. And I said, why? Even the big conferences right now are having a hard time finding a bell cow. Okay, one team, right, in the Big Ten, Ohio State. And even then,
Alabama still feels like the SEC bell cow. Sorry, they do.
But here's the thing.
They're fourth in the country right now.
They are fourth in the country.
They beat Georgia.
But the highest ranked team in that conference is Texas A&M, who in my lifetime has never made a run like this.
Alabama's still a bell cow.
I still think Alabama's good, but in the same year and in the same breath that you have Vanderbilt, who has got a single-digit ranking next to their.
Fair. That's fair.
I mean, we have never seen them do that.
We're seeing teams winning at a high level that we've never seen before. And Texas A&M is included in that because they're always good. They're never great.
What did we say? What did we say the last? When did they win a national championship? It was like 1941 or something.
R.C. Slocum was their coach the last time they played in a significant bowl game.
And honestly, they were always like 9-3 during those years. You know what I mean? Like they weren't really.
I think R.C. Slocum was their coach the last time they won a conference championship.
I think in the COVID year they went to like a big bowl against Notre Dame and didn't they get their butts handed to them?
Yeah.
And so this is not. You're just not used to this. And so why not? Why not have a discussion where we predict how things are going to go for these teams going forward? Okay? Now, I'm looking at this this predictor that they have there because I think there's six teams who are undefeated in FBS football right now. Now, what's interesting about this is let's talk about Navy, who's the team that is 8-0 and is not even in the top 25, which means they're given the least amount of shot by anybody to do anything special. Now, their schedule is Out of 136 FBS teams, where do you think it ranks on strength of schedule?
130?
136.
Okay.
Actually, dead last.
I was close.
Dead last of the toughest schedule.
And you take a look at it, it's not great.
It's not good.
It's about to get much more challenging.
Now,
they're a team to watch down the stretch, to be honest.
they are, because if they beat North Texas this week, then people are going to go, okay, hold up. Because they haven't played a freaking soul, but they're 8-0. And their projected first loss, according to CBS, is actually this Saturday against North Texas, because they go to North Texas. Oh, tough Denton, where the Mean Green play.
Their next 4 games, at North Texas, at Notre Dame, home against South Florida, at Memphis. So that's 2 ranked opponents and 2 teams that are close to being ranked.
We could very well see them go 0-4 to finish the season.
Right.
Which I think a lot of people kind of have. I think a reality is probably that they really will only go 1-3 at best.
I mean, they barely beat Air Force.
And they might beat North Texas this
They beat
weekend.
Rice by a touchdown. They beat Temple by a point.
Now, here's the thing. If they beat North Texas and then they play Notre Dame and somehow get a win in that game, then you're talking about a Navy team who will be in the college football playoff first rankings
100%.
at 10-0.
Absolutely.
All right? They will be there. And they still have to play USF and Memphis, who are arguably 2 of the strongest G5 teams who are still out there, who people have been trying to run down all season long, those 2 teams in particular. So, I don't know. Navy, whatever, okay? Still a long shot. Now, BYU's next on this list that I want to talk about. BYU is considered, their toughest game considered yet is November 8th after the bye week against Texas Tech. The toughest game left is that. And you know what's funny is that CBS has them winning that game. Now, whether it's the question mark at quarterback for...
The new developments make that very possible.
There are some injury issues for BYU they need to look at. Preston Rex, by the way, got a little bit banged up at the end of that game.
Boy.
We have no idea what his status is going to be. Glasgow, of course, was not himself. I think there was a re-aggravated shoulder situation maybe with Jack Kelly. I don't think he's 100%. Now, I'm saying guys that may very well play. Tomorrow's going to be very interesting when you see. Now they don't even have to put an injury report out.
And you know we complained about the early bye week for BYU, but this is the perfect bye week for BYU.
Yeah, it actually makes it.
They need it badly.
They needed it big time because the injury bug that has bitten Texas Tech quite considerably right now could be the linchpin for that game to be something that BYU could steal. If they steal that game and they go to 9-0, that's exactly where CBS has them. Their projected first loss, according to CBS, would be at Cincinnati on November 22nd. Now, what does that mean? What that means is they think that Texas Tech is going to lose to BYU because the injuries are going to be maybe too much to handle there at Lubbock. And then BYU loses at Cincinnati. Now, for the sake of argument, let's say that Cincinnati loses to Utah, and I'm more and more bullish on the Utes absolutely winning that game.
Cincinnati's going to be without their running back.
They're going to be without their running back. It's going to be a dark mode game, and I'm telling you, BYU fans, you don't like it, but you are going to get a lot of help from Utah this week. And you've already played them. You know, how many times, look, in the rivalry game, and I don't know how many people have hit me up and told me personally, like, hey, yeah, and if Devin Dampier comes out of that game early and Bert Ficklin goes in, BYU loses that rivalry game. I'm always like, that's hilarious. A la 2021 when Cam Rising wasn't the quarterback yet. It was still Chuck Brewer slinging the rock for the Utes.
Brewer.
So
we all remember old Chuck.
They have their projected first loss at Cincinnati. Now, if Cincinnati loses to Utah and BYU's first loss is at Cincinnati, then you're talking about 2 one-loss teams in Cincinnati and BYU. If BYU can hold on and beat UCF and Provo that final week of the season, I'm not trying to mull over TCU. The whole point of this article was these undefeated teams and a path for them to be able to kind of stay on the path, not just to being undefeated, but maybe to being, in BYU's case, if they lose one conference game, they're in the conference championship game, right? Is that too much to ask?
If one loss gets them in, no doubt. Because I'm looking ahead a little bit. Cincinnati's not going to go undefeated in conference, right?
I think they lose this weekend against
Utah.
Yep.
And BYU would control their own destiny there. But Cincinnati's looking at a finish of at Utah, home against Arizona, home against BYU, and at TCU.
That's tough.
That's not easy.
Nope.
That's not easy at all.
TCU could play spoiler so easy in that game.
Oh, 100%.
They're in Fort Worth. It would be their version of a conference championship game because they have underperformed, but they've got great talent. So you're right. They could lose 2 games
Let me
easily.
throw out another wild scenario that is now developing. We looked at Texas Tech as this juggernaut when the season started, and the way they started, they certainly looked that part. But the injury bug has hit their quarterback room and other spots, and they have a tricky game this weekend at Kansas State.
That one is sneaky
Kansas
tough.
State, if you have been following, is starting to play much, much better.
They've won 3 out of the last 4.
They have.
They put it on Kansas at Lawrence this past week and put 42 up.
42-17 over Kansas, and they beat TCU by 2 scores.
Uh-oh.
Kansas State is waking up. How confident do you feel about Texas Tech winning it in Manhattan this week? The ESPN matchup predictor has them 64% favored. I don't know. If I'm a Texas Tech fan, and you're down to your third quarterback this weekend,
Yep.
I'm a little nervous about that. And now here's where a path opens for Utah again. Because if Texas Tech loses that game to Kansas State
They
and
got 2
BYU
losses.
can beat them,
then they're out.
there's the number 3. Utah needs Texas Tech to get to the loss number 3. That's how it happens.
So remember I was saying BYU fans, you should thank Utah after they beat Cincinnati this weekend. Turn right back around, Utah
yes.
fans, and you have to give thanks to BYU when they if they beat Texas Tech in 2
Sorry,
weeks.
Utah fan. You're going to have to cheer loudly for BYU against Texas Tech because that's your only hope.
And by the way, the hope we're giving, I want people to understand totally here. We're talking about a BYU versus Utah conference championship game. That's what you're creating,
That's
right?
Utah's only scenario that they want right now because unless that happens, it's BYU Texas Tech in that game and Utah's left out.
Right.
It's not going to be Utah Texas Tech at this point. BYU has too much of an they've got a perfect situation here. BYU's undefeated and 5-0 with 4 games left in conference play. And they're going to be favored in all but one of those games.
Playing at Cincinnati is going to be tough. I don't think they'll be favored down at
I said all but one.
So you think they'll be favored even at Cincinnati?
By the time they get to that point,
okay.
I do.
Interesting.
I don't think Cincinnati's going to be in the same situation.
So somehow we've turned this conversation about how
we got a little bit off track.
I love it because look, we're selfish right now. We're selfish. Why wouldn't we want a Holy War Conference Championship repeat? The 3rd year that BYU's in the conference and the 2nd year Utah's in the conference.
And can you imagine them playing in a Big 12 championship with their first ever college football playoff bid on the line?
Oh my goodness!
And the loser's probably out.
That would be awesome. I don't care what. Hey, this is no Royal Purple 2019 Las Vegas Bowl matchup,
or
okay?
15, whatever year it was.
Oh, what was it? Oh, yeah, it was 15. It was Kalani's hiring date.
Yep.
You got to remember December 15th of 2015. Not just the Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl between BYU and Utah. It was the day that Kalani was hired, and things changed. So how does that work? Man, that is wild. Now, Indiana, they play – here's what's crazy about this. Their toughest game that they have left on their schedule is going to Penn State in 2 weeks. That's literally their toughest game on their schedule.
Sounds a lot like last year. But this year I feel like they've earned it more. That win at Austin blew me away.
For sure. And
crushing Illinois the way they did blew me away.
And they are embarrassing every other team now, too, every week. And so going to Penn State on November 8th is considered their toughest loss. Their first projected loss, according to this predictor, and it's 100% right, would be against Ohio State on December 6th in the Big Ten Championship game. If they lose to Ohio State and they're number 2, where do they go in the college football playoff? They stay in the top 4, don't they? They'd probably be
100%.
number 4.
How could you dock them?
You couldn't. And you're not going to put a Big 10 or a Big 12 team.
If they get to the Big 12 championship game undefeated, they're a top 4.
Yeah.
No
100%.
questions asked.
100%. And they could very well give Ohio State a run. In fact, I wouldn't doubt that Ohio State could very well lose that game against.
If they can win at Autzen, why can't they win that Big 12 championship?
The toughest game that Georgia Tech has left as an undefeated, their toughest game is they have to host Georgia on November 28th, a rematch of last year's. Oh, what do they play for down there?
Whatever it is, that was a fun game last
What do they
year.
play for down there? A can of Coke?
Who knows?
I'm not sure what
I can't keep track of all the dumb trophies.
whatever the
in college
Atlanta
football.
kind of battle for Atlanta is. I don't know. Anyway, Georgia comes to town on Thanksgiving weekend. That's their toughest game they have left. This one has that their first projected loss would be against Pitt on November 22nd. I don't believe that for 1 second. I think
Why
Georgia
not, though?
I think Georgia Tech stays undefeated till they play Georgia. And if that's the case, if a one-loss Georgia Tech team is there, unfortunately, I think you're going to have – well, they'll go to the ACC championship game, and I don't know who they'd play.
Probably Miami.
Ugh, and then Miami will beat them, and then you're going to have two
Yep.
ACC teams who
Probably.
don't feel like – that you feel
That's why
yucky
you're
putting
cheering.
both of them in.
If you're in the Big 12, you're cheering for an NC State or a Boston College or a Pitt to pull off that conference upset.
Texas A&M has an interesting schedule because they finalized their schedule on Thanksgiving weekend at Texas. They have them losing at Texas. I don't see that for 1 second. And listen, I'm a firm believer that A&M is always little brother to Texas. Not this year.
Oh, you're not giving Samford a chance on November 22nd?
They have such a garbage schedule the rest of the way.
It really does.
And according to these predictors, though, what I'm saying is that of all of these teams they're talking about being undefeated, of the 6 that are left, CBS Sports has only Ohio State finishing undefeated this season, including going to Michigan. I don't think this is going to be the year Michigan holds a candle, but who knows with that game?
You never know.
It's a crazy game.
And
it's at the Big House.
Yeah, true.
It's at the Big House. But this
I
is
can't see it. Not this
I
year.
can't either. This is one of those years Ohio State it's like 51-10 type of a game.
Ryan Day's got that circle on his calendar. He's not losing this year.
I think that they do that, then they'll be poised for that national championship run again, and it's going to be theirs to lose, to be honest. I do think that the best team they're going to be facing the rest of the way, including in the rest of the college football playoff, is probably Indiana in that Big Ten championship game. It was just wild to say. It's wild to think, too. So all I'm saying is as I'm talking through all this, JJ, I'm so freaking excited about the rest of the college football season because we don't talk about Georgia Tech at this time of year. We don't talk about Indiana this time of year. We don't talk about Vanderbilt. We don't talk about BYU, frankly, this time of year.
And we can thank two things for that. Number one, the 12-team college football playoff, and number two, NIL has evened the playing field.
Yeah, I think you're watching the NFL junior being born fully here because we were having this discussion. I was like, I was talking to Mitch about it, and I go, why do you need a bell cow? The NFL every year, everybody looks at it and goes, it's a blank sheet. What do? We have 3 teams maybe that you think will be pretty good? But after that, your Indianapolis Colts, there's always a team like that. The Broncos are having a better than expected year. The Chargers are expected to be a little bit better, and they've kind of underperformed a little bit, but they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
And then teams like the Chiefs keep showing up and never going away. Last year, it was the Commanders. Who on earth would have thought the Commanders? But that's the nature of high-level talent being spread across the entire league, which is what you're getting with college football now a little bit more. So that's why your Vanderbilts and your Indianas and your Houstons even are having years that they can have after the years that they've had in decades past of just not being good at all. So still trying to figure out if I'm thankful for it or if it's just getting annoying that these teams across the board are getting better and better. So, all right. It's going to be a complicated last 4 weeks of the season.
Isn't that what we want?
Absolutely. Take every bit of it. All right. But again, I'm angling for how you can get that BYU Utah rematch in the Big 12 championship.
I just
game.
showed you the path.
Could you imagine? What's crazy is that you'd have that game and that stadium would be actually more filled than it would have ever been filled before with other teams. Am I wrong?
In Arlington?
Yes.
Half the state's going to be down. I'm telling you.
It would be.
No one's showing up for work
Lloyd,
on that day.
Can we get that day off? I mean to go down there and cover it. That's what I'm saying. You think we blow out the budget for a Rose Bowl? How about a BYU versus Utah?
Can you imagine Jerry's
Conference
World filled with BYU and Utah fans?
Oh, it'd be the most.
Out?
It'd be half of the stadium would be the most sober. I remember I took a picture years ago at the Arizona versus BYU game down at Glendale at whatever it is, State Farm Field or whatever it is. And the beer section on the BYU side was hilarious. There's just one guy in jean shorts.
Hoping
that
no one
bishop
takes a
didn't see
picture.
him. Yeah. I was like, hey, Utah fans, or hey, Arizona fans, you could come over to this side and it won't be a problem.
No line over here on the BYU side.
The Margaritaville employees are like, what's going on? All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner. We've got our hot and cold next. We're going to talk some Utah Jazz. Speaking of hot, holy cow. Settle down, Jazz. You have one job this year. More to go around the corner. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What time is it?
Your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The last time a Utah Jazz player scored 50 points in a game was 1998. Markkanen working the right side, attacks the rack, off the contact, puts it off the glass and in. Lauri Markkanen is bigger, stronger, and better than anyone else on the floor tonight. Clayton is working the right side, stops in the pocket, top to Lauri, tough turnaround, three, hit it! My goodness, Lauri Markkanen, how do you do?
You're locked into JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Look, I appreciate that the Jazz Daily segment's right here. I love me some basketball. It's the best thing that's ever happened to John Tesh, as he mentioned yesterday.
Oh, no doubt.
Or at least his wife mentioned.
So why does Dave not get more appreciation and love for what he accomplished?
No, I was more going along the lines of, I think that's just a daily attack from our producer, Alex Napolis, on not playing Katy Perry's Hot and Cold for our Hot and Cold segment as well.
He's kind of refused to do that.
That's what I'm saying is like, he goes, we had to do Jazz Daily. Gotta go John Tesh. You like John Tesh, don't you?
It's been a second since we heard Katy Perry.
He's over here jingling the keys so that you and I go, oh, look at that shiny thing. And then we'll forget about, for Hot and Cold, that Katy Perry should be featured heavily in this section of the show. Just so happens that the Jazz are one of the hottest teams right now.
Yeah, but Katy Perry's dating Justin Trudeau, so I think we need to ban her from the show.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
Are we being serious right now? That's the weird.
Can we come to that agreement?
It's the weirdest combo I've ever heard of. Oh my gosh, she's not Canadian, right? No, she's California girl, right? No, I think she's a Texan or something.
I don't know.
Anyway, bottom line is she sings California Girls, and we need to do Hot and Cold with her next time, okay? Hot and Cold, by the way, hottest NBA team in this region, this portion of the Rockies, is the Utah Jazz. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. We're going to be giving away some stuff here in just a moment, some Jazz tickets. Before we do, we want to tell you to prep for winter. Get that furnace inspection from a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency. A reminder from Enbridge Gas, part of our Hot and Cold segment right here. Guess who's hot right now? Lauri Markkanen is averaging 34.6 points a game. Not bad after the 51 last night that he scored. The Jazz beat the Suns in overtime. It was one of those moments where I saw that the game had like 5 minutes left, and I knew my sons were going to ask me to avoid bedtime if they could watch the game. The Jazz were up like by 9, I think, at that point with 5 minutes left. And I went, yeah, they're going to win this game, man. It got down to 3 minutes, and I went, they're still up 7, 8. Don't look now because the Jazz gave up 7 points and blew that lead, and they went into overtime, and my kids were laughing all the way to staying up late watching that game into overtime. But I'll tell you what, it was 50 points from Lauri Markkanen, 51 from Lauri. It was another, was it 26 from Keontae?
Yeah, 26 and 10.
26 and 10 from him. Another double-double for Walker Kessler. I had somebody say this to me today. This is actually a really fun Jazz team. And I was like, slow your roll. Hold on a minute. But I couldn't disagree with him, JJ. I mean, that was a heck of a performance last night. The Jazz are 2-1. And not only are they playing really decent basketball right now, like they are, and I know it's early, but JJ, if the playoffs were to start today.
This is going to be a new segment on JJ and Alex.
It's got a new low for us. If every day we're going to do it, we're going to live and die by every win and loss. Now, if the playoffs were to start today.
Look, the way the Jazz are playing right now, this is probably not going to last. So this is the only time all season we're going to care about the standings at the top.
Yep, Jazz are 4 seed in the West.
It's the only time we're going to care about if the playoffs started today, because let's embrace it. We've embraced it with the Mammoth.
This is the funniest. They would be the 4 seed today. They'd be taking on the 5. They'd be hosting the 5-seeded, checks notes, Los Angeles Clippers, who obviously they've owned this season across the board.
Well, yeah, they
this,
led by 37. They're going to win that series.
Am I playing this game right? Okay, so
Jazz Spurs in the
I know.
in the Western Conference semifinals.
So tell me what your thoughts are on this, because Lauri scoring 51 points is not something that happens very often for. I think it's crazy to know when Locke said that last night, and to know that no Jazz man has scored in the regular season 50 points since 1998. To think that Darren didn't get it, to think that Donovan didn't get it. Who else am I shorting on that, JJ? Guys who could have scored 50 in the time when they were here.
I mean,
with the
Boozer
Jazz.
didn't get to 50. He was pretty prolific scoring. It hasn't been a lot of guys. Andre Karolinko, but that really wasn't his thing.
Yeah, no.
Different era too.
But again, Don scored 50 in a playoff game.
Donovan's the guy you would think would have done it. It just didn't happen in regular season. It happened in the playoffs.
So, what are we to know right now through 3 games with this Jazz team?
This is what we know right now. They are too good to keep that pick, and that's a problem. I'm telling you, this is not they're good right now for 3 games thing. If they stay healthy and these guys play together all year, I'm sorry. Lauri Markkanen is an all-star level player. And then you add the continued development of Walker Kessler, who right now in my eyes is a top 10 center in the league, and suddenly Keontae George is emerging as a viable point guard option in this league. The way he's playing right now, 26 and 10 last night. Look, I know that the Phoenix Suns are probably not a playoff team. I don't care. Like, the Jazz in 3 games have been very impressive. This does not look like last year's team at all. This does not look like a 17-win team to me. And if this is a team that wins even 35, 40 games, you're not going to keep that first-round pick in a very, very, very deep draft. So you're once again going to have this issue that we had 3 years ago when the Jazz came out hot, 10-2 in Will Hardy's first season? Will Hardy's too dang good of a coach. So you've got an excellent coach. You've got excellent players now, a young roster mixed with some of these veterans. It's all coming together. They play good basketball. They're playing well together. They're developing chemistry. It was just a matter of time before this group starts winning basketball games on a regular basis. Are they ready to? Is this franchise ready to start winning? Or did you want to wait another year? This is a little bit of a dilemma behind the scenes. How do you handle this?
Yeah, I don't.
Because they're not a playoff. I don't think they're a playoff team.
Yeah,
Although if the playoffs started today.
But you can't. I know. You can't meddle, right?
That's the problem. But you'd have to meddle to keep them where you want to be. Right?
I think that, and look, and part of it's because I listen to enough Jake and Ben to know, like, hey, the law of averages, you start to even out. That things will even out. From a talent perspective, it'll start to even out. You're not going to get this on a nightly basis. You're not going to go 10-2 even.
No, but you're not getting 8, 9, 10 losses in a row from this group either, are you?
I mean, that's
you know what's required to win 18, 20 games in a season.
JJ, these same guys only subtract better veterans were this team last year. Like
Lauri didn't play. How many games did he play last year?
Yeah,
how many games did Walker Kessler sit out?
He was banged up.
Keontae George wasn't nearly this good. He was coming off the bench.
I know. What's crazy
this is different.
What's crazy is you're going to see an Ace Bailey who's going to become Ace Bailey again. Like
exactly. He's just going to get better. Bryce Sensabaugh coming off the bench is genius.
All right. So
this team looks formidable. Not a playoff team, but formidable. They can't be formidable if they want to keep that pick. They have to be bad.
So what do they have to do to keep the pick? 8th worst or
it's top 8
worse?
Protected.
Okay.
And keep in mind, they could be in the lottery. They could have the 5th worst record, and you could still fall 4 spots. We saw it happen last year.
Yeah.
So you got to be top.
Bad.
You have to be top 5 bad to ensure that you keep that pick. Is this team top 5 bad right now? The Pacers are rock bottom because of the injury situations that they have. The Brooklyn Nets are bad. The Pelicans are 0-3. Outside of that, who are the other bad teams? I mean, is there enough bad teams that are worse than the Jazz? I don't know. Right now, the Jazz look pretty good, so it could be any of these teams. The Phoenix Suns looked bad last night. even though they came back and tied the game and sent it to overtime. You saw the Kings the other night. They're considered a team that's not going to make the playoffs. They're bottom 5 right now. They're 1-2. Their only win is against the Jazz on their home court.
Look,
are the Grizzlies any good?
The thing that I take a lot of heart in is that also I think the Hornets are undefeated. Okay.
Maybe that's they're 2-1.
Sorry, they're 2-1.
But still, your point is valid. Like probably way too early to have these discussions.
That's the litmus test.
But
how are the Hornets doing over in the East? Oh, they're 2-1 also. I think the Jazz are going to be okay. Are people in Charlotte right now calling up their local radio show going, I really like this team. I can't see them losing 10 in a row. It's like, look, we've seen worse happen. We've seen teams go on crazy runs. And the teams that are typically more talented are going to be more talented. You're going to find out a lot about these teams across the board going forward, and it's going to even out. So I'm not worried about it. And by the way, why couldn't they be able to use some of their trade stock to be able to get themselves higher up in the draft on draft night?
Well, they're going to have to get rid of Svi Mykhailiuk. He's too good.
Stop it.
I'm serious.
I know, but
he's good.
Again, all these guys playing. Think about who was Fontecchio? Remember that guy played his way into being.
Svi Mykhailiuk is this team's
Simone Fontecchio. Simone Fontecchio. What happened?
Earns his way in the starting lineup.
Yep.
Impresses the league.
Gets traded to the Detroit Pistons, never to be seen again, and they get value back for him, which is exactly why you do these kinds of. Which is exactly why a guy like Svi Mykhailiuk is going to be decent for this team. All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got, I've got some Jazz tickets, though, to give away. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. That means all you have to do right now is just be caller number 12. You want to see this team that local sports talk radio hosts have called formidable.
They are. They're really good.
Jazz versus the Trailblazers, 2 teams leading the Northwest Division. That's coming up on Wednesday at Delta Center. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-9663. You get a pair of tickets right now to see the Jazz and the Trailblazers. We're going to do another pair of tickets all day today. So just keep listening in. We'll keep you dialed up, and we'll get you those tickets. More to go around the corner. 97.5 BKSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Every Wednesday is a Win Ticket Wednesday right here on the KSL Sports Zone. You can win tickets tomorrow all day long across the station to Brian Regan live at Delta Center coming up Valentine's Day of 2026. You can get those tickets at SeatGeek, or you can just listen all day long tomorrow for your chance to win. It's our famous Win Ticket Wednesdays. Would you rather? Now, JJ, yesterday was the sports equinox. I mean, that's a pretty dang special day of sports right there. You have the NFL, which turned out to be a dog of a game. The worst game of the night was that NFL game between the Commanders and the
Commanders
Chiefs.
Without Jaden Daniels at his best is mid.
And Mariota I think he does a pretty good job standing in there.
He's a solid backup in the league.
He really is, and I feel bad for him because he didn't have time to throw.
Mm-mm.
The Chiefs' defense is unfortunately good. Ugh.
I know.
And
is anybody outside of our friend down the hall really excited about the Chiefs being back?
Our friend down the hall, he made it sound like Satan lives at the end of the. I won't mention his name. Don't utter Rusty's name into existence.
I don't want to welcome that spirit into the studio right now.
Grandma told me never to say Rusty Keys' name,
otherwise
it'll
show
times. Up. So, but that being said, the World Series game, hockey across the board, including some of hockey's original founding six, the original six, the big six, were in action last night. The World Series is going. NFL. I loved how that my computer actually told me too. They're like, and 2 MLS playoff games. And I was like, football is live. I said, well, settle down. I think that one's taking a back seat tonight. But yeah, on top of it, you had it, and then NBA, of course. You had the Jazz going overtime to get a win. You had 18 innings you had essentially 2 World Series games in one day. You played the length of 2 different games. Which one, prior to knowing what the outcome was going to be, which one do you show up at? I know a World Series one seems automatic. However, I don't care about either of those teams.
Doesn't matter. A World Series is special. It's an event. I know in baseball, especially in the regular season, they're playing games every day. It's just not something special at all.
But you go to that Chiefs game, you're in the same building as Brittany Mahomes. Gosh, they kept showing their mugs up in the booth last night. I was
it's World Series.
Get out of here.
It's
all right.
Close.
Okay.
And I know people that were at the game last night. They were sharing their pictures on social media, and I was so happy for them because they got to witness history. It's something they'll tell their grandkids about.
Yeah, it
was a special event last night.
It's pretty cool.
What we witnessed was history. It's pretty cool.
I get it. However, I think that like if you have glass side, or if you have like rink side seats for a hockey game versus sitting out in the middle of nothing at Dodger Stadium, I don't know. I think I'd take the hockey over that.
Really?
Yeah.
That historic game in the World Series.
Oh, how are you going to know it's going to be that epic of a game?
Because you're going to take tickets to the World Series. If someone says, "Hey, I got tickets to the Blues and the Canes," or you can go to the World Series Game 3 at Chavez Ravine.
Yeah.
What do you take? Come on now. Come on. I know you're so bitter about the Blue Jays, and everybody hates the Dodgers.
My favorite thing today was it's going to be awkward in 10 years when all the families have to explain in LA why they named their child Shohei Rodriguez.
Well, you won't have to ask questions.
Shohei Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like, what's the significance of that name? Just a special night back in October, right, sweetie, of 2025. She rolls her eyes and goes, my gosh.
Wasn't special for her.
Oh, my goodness. I'll leave it there so the jokes don't just keep showing up. We've got more around the corner when we return. Steve Bartle, he is our Ute insider for KSLSports.com, is going to join us. We're going to get Steve's take on this Utah Utes team. I'm getting more and more on the side of, I saw the social media post for them, putting everything in dark mode with the Thriller music behind it, and I was like, I don't think Cincinnati's got it, man. That might be tough.
Cincinnati's entering I know they've been impressive. They're entering a portion of their schedule that is next level for them. I know. Let's see if they can pass the test.
It's tough. We'll see. More to go around the corner. Steve Bartle joins us next, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
The Utes get set for another huge Big 12 game as they square off against Cincinnati. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen, and we appreciate you being a part of the program. You can download the podcast wherever podcasts are found, wherever you listen to your daily podcasts. Add us to the old rotation there, and you won't miss a second of the local and big spins, of course, on all the local teams here when it comes to every team that you love here, including the Utah Utes, the BYU Cougars, the Jazz, Mammoth. The Mammoth? Am I saying that right?
No, you're not. You need to work on that.
The Mammoth.
There you go.
All right. So let's kick off the show as we always do. We've got to get to the cut here. We'll jump in because Steve Bartle, our Utes insider for KSLSports.com, is going to join us. Let's go ahead and hit the old cut here, and let's get it going officially.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Doug Smith brings you this portion of the program. Doug Smith, of course, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Kia, Subaru, and now Mitsubishi in Linden, American Fork, and in Spanish Fork. Nobody knows cars like Doug. I want to bring up a little bit of, before we get to Steve and talking about this matchup against Cincinnati this week, and And this is something that I'm pretty interested in, is trying to figure out if there is a quarterback controversy, or was it just kind of the shiny new thing because he was able to get it done on Saturday night, and now there's no reason to go back and forth about who your starter is going to be. If Devin Dampier is healthy, is he the starter no matter what?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Why,
Kyle
though?
Whittingham has made that clear.
Okay.
Why? Because he is. I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Steve Bartle that question.
I just wonder if paying him is part of that, or if I
don't think coaches, even when that's the case in 2025, more important than getting ROI on players that are being paid, coaches need to win. Coaches have to win, and so if they're paying a player, they'll sit him if it's going to mean you have a better chance to win. I don't think that's the case here.
I love the idea of coaches too being like this. Hey, you're like, yeah, coach. You sit down and you're like, hey, we really want you to come play at Utah. What kind of an ROI are we going to get with you, though?
Hey, that's a fair question.
I know nowadays it really is.
That's 100%
you got to ask that question.
You understand that by paying you this money, when much is given, much is required.
Yeah, I get it.
There's pressure with that.
I just think it's funny that
better deliver.
Nowadays the question gets asked. It's like, hey, some guy goes, yeah, I'm looking for six figures, and you go, great, but what's your return on investment going to be? Joining us on the program right now, these are actual questions that we have to figure out nowadays. The real question for Steve Bartle, our Utes insider for KSLSports.com, is, Steve, is there a quarterback controversy on the Hill, or is it just you got some really, really great talented quarterbacks, and it's nice to have Bird Ficklin, but if Devin Dampier is healthy, he's the guy?
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a controversy. I think Bird Ficklin made a very good impression on all of us watching him. He was really impressive, and as a true freshman coming in and being able to pick up an offense and go out in a situation like he was, where he had to fill in for Dampier, is Utah's reeling a little bit from the previous week's loss, and it was an important game for Utah to stay in the Big 12 race. For him to step into that role and into that situation and perform the way that he did was really, really impressive. But this is clearly Devin Dampier's team. It's from a production standpoint, a leadership standpoint, all of those things. This is still Dampier's team, and that. But you can certainly feel much better about Utah's quarterback situation and the future of it with the way that Bird performed on Saturday.
As long as they're able to keep everybody in the quarterback room on the roster next year, as we know in today's college football, that's not a sure thing. But very exciting, and Bird Ficklin was great and showed a lot of promise. What was really promising was the way that Utah responded, Steve, after a disappointing loss, obviously, to BYU. But one of the reasons why I thought it was disappointing was their execution wasn't sharp and the intensity wasn't there in some of the ways. And really that was the difference in that game, I felt, was Utah's lack of execution in key moments. They were unbelievable in their execution against Colorado. What was the difference in 1 week in their execution?
Yeah, I think it really came down to the aggressive game plan that Morgan Scalley installed on the defensive side of the ball, but then too, with the offensive line and the run game, I think they probably felt like they needed to come out and really have a performance like that. And you can go back to last year and look at that Colorado game, against Utah in Boulder, and Colorado certainly, ran up the score, not in like a disrespectful way, but, made that a pretty big blowout. And, Utah probably had a little motivation to get Colorado back, and just kind of given what they evaluated on film, put together a couple of really, really strong game plans and, went out and executed. So, that group certainly, both groups, offense, defense, even special teams too, with the plays that they made, with Jackson Benny getting the block punt, with the fake punt from Orion Phillips and Dallin Bentley. There was certainly a lot of things that Utah identified on film and when you have those opportunities, it can be exciting for players to go out and execute in those situations. And I think it was pretty clear that this was a team that wanted to provide a strong response, given the loss the previous week again, and I think to do that in front of the Rice Eccles crowd, homecoming game, there were a lot of alumni in attendance. I think there was a lot of reason for the improved energy and aggression on all, in all phases.
No offense to Cincinnati or Cincinnati fans, but the Bearcats weren't exactly a team when the year started that I think people looked at and went, that is going to be a key game in the Big 12 race. And yet here we are. Wouldn't have it any other way that you're in Week 10 and a team like Cincinnati. Look, this is what the Big 12 does, apparently. Just delivers random teams that start to get good and they get hot. And this year it's Cincinnati. It's one of those teams. Houston's also one of those teams, weirdly enough. But what does Kyle Whittingham see with this Bearcats team coming into Salt Lake? It's obviously not a trip that they make very often. They're going to, it's one of these conference mates that you don't know a lot about, and yet they're a really, really good team, and they haven't lost in conference yet so far.
Yeah, this is the first matchup between the two programs, in history. So this is an opportunity to, compete against a totally new opponent. And according to what Whittingham had to share on Monday, obviously the first thing that stands out is that Bearcat offense with Brendan Sorsby and the way that he's performing. I think he has a 20-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He's thrown for over 1,800 yards. He's ran for over 400 yards and 7 touchdowns. And this was stuff that I thought watching film and watching tape on him from last year. He was a guy that really had to be Superman for his Bearcat squad to have any sort of chance, at a win. And he just didn't have many options around him, many, reliable skill players, didn't have a good offensive line, but, the Bearcats added a key offensive tackle, through the transfer portal. They added a couple receivers, and suddenly this Bearcat offense is, one of the best in the Big 12. And it's, again, due in large part to the way that Sorsby is performing. And, they've found balance with the run game. But it sounds like I think their top running back, Pryor, is going to miss this game. But they still have a couple options in that running back room. And I was talking with the Cincinnati insider earlier today who shared, this team is really, really healthy. They've avoided the injury bug, and they've been able to maintain their health all season, and that's been key to them, performing at a high level each and every week, where they've been able to build on things as they've had guys, available and healthy and able to continue to build on things. So, Cincinnati coming in, this is going to be a really good offense. It's balanced. It's going to stretch. It's going to test Utah in both phases of the game. The defense isn't necessarily a strong calling card of the Bearcats this season. They're a program that gives up a lot of yardage. It's a bend but don't break type of defense. So that's going to be important to keep in mind that Utah may be able to move the ball against them pretty easily, between the 20s, but this Bearcat defense, really tightens up in that red zone. So that's going to be the key, is red zone offense for Utah going into this game against this Bearcat defense.
How much does that hurt Cincinnati to have their starting running back out, or is it more just all about Sorsby?
No, it's impactful. I don't think it's a huge deal. They've got running backs that can fill in, and maybe not to the same playmaking ability of Pryor, because he is kind of the lightning to the thunder of the other running backs in that room. He's the big play type of guy, comparable to like Wayshawn, right? Wayshawn Parker for Utah. He's that sort of running back. So it is. Cincinnati would obviously rather have him than not, but they've got depth in that room that they feel good about.
Steve, one of the things that Coach Witt has had this year is, like, I think that it's felt, fans are following this team. It's felt just like this kind of Jekyll and Hyde situation. Yet at the same time, the two losses that they have are to the two of the highest ranked teams in the Big 12. JJ and I were talking about a path for this team to still be able to make something happen to get to the conference championship game. One of those things is they have to beat Cincinnati. They have to rely a little bit on Texas Tech falling off some too, which with the injuries that they've seen, that might be the case as well. Is there still that talk of, hey, not just the one game at a time type of deal, but a lot of their goals are still right in front of them?
Yeah, I think the talk from the program and, running into players or coaches after the game Saturday night, the message was consistent. It's Cincinnati. And, it didn't matter what you asked them, the response was Cincinnati. And so that's where the team's mindset is they know that this one is really, really important. Nothing else matters if you don't get this game this weekend. So that's the mindset that the team has embraced. And I think that's the right mindset to have, obviously, is you got to get this one. You get into the bye week, and then you set up for the final three games, going on the road to Baylor, returning home for a matchup against Kansas State, which suddenly seems to be, playing better football, and then Kansas to finish it up. That's going to be a tough one, too, because that's an early Black Friday type of game. So, this is the important one. You get this one, and then you can start having more of those conversations about tiebreaker scenarios and that. But Utah absolutely has to get this one first and foremost, and then from there, it's all about getting right for the final three games.
Looking at Utah's rushing game, last year they had 7 touchdowns total the entire season. Right now they have 24. They knew they had to fix it, and by all accounts so far, it looks like they have. Is this what they envisioned this year when they brought in Coach Beck? And it's not just one guy. You got 5 players that are over 200 yards rushing this season.
Yeah, this is exactly what the vision was a potent rushing attack, and I think it's an offense that really fit the personnel of this team quite well. When you talk about the strength of the offense in particular, being the offensive line and having guys up front that can move people and other guys that can get out in space, that's given Coach Beck a lot of options in the run game itself. So, where we've watched this offense, the last couple of years bogged down, when things get difficult and, rely so heavily on that inside zone, Beck's brought some variety, some creativity, and when you have a quarterback like Devin Dampier or Bird Ficklin and the athleticism that they have, the decision-making that we've seen from them in that option attack has been really, really impressive. And Ficklin, against Colorado was really, really impressive in that regard. Just the decisions he made. I know they had a botched mesh point at early on in that game, but from that point on, I thought Ficklin made great decisions of when to pull it, and that's what you get. And when you have that QB run game with athletes as dynamic as Dampier and Ficklin are, it makes you, it gives your run game a significant boost. And talking about Cincinnati, that's kind of the same story. Is Sorsby's, he's not the dynamic make you miss type of athlete that Dampier or Ficklin are, but he's a guy that can still use his legs. He's runs like a Josh Allen type. I'm not comparing him to Josh Allen, but just that type of quarterback, a big body athlete that can move, and that's what's helped Cincinnati find balance as well. So that's been the key is Beck and that quarterback room with the athleticism they have there, and they feel really, really good about the run game as they get into the final month of the season. Because they've been able to distribute a lot of the carries and the workload, guys are healthy, and that was an issue for Utah last year. Was Mekhi Bernard, and he was worn down by the end of the season. But you're getting into November where you have Wayshawn Parker, who's I think currently 8th in the conference in total rushing yards at 503 yards, and he's only had 70 carries. When you look at the guys ahead of him, they're all 115, 120, 130 type of carries, and the workload is just you're starting to see some guys take some injuries and that. So, Wayshawn had a great game against Colorado, and he's going to be key to Utah in this final home, next month of the season.
The offense had an awesome breakout game, of course, last week. But what has the defense done over the past couple of weeks to kind of make people. I mean, look, if you look at it from a total defense perspective, they're one of the best in the conference, and one of the best in the country still. But there was also this part that was like they needed that type of. It wasn't just the offense that needed a get back game and to figure this thing out. The defense seemed like they really found who they were again as well.
Yeah, I think, again, Morgan Scalley just identified some things on tape with Colorado and put together a really aggressive game plan. And I think Coach Whittingham put it, pretty perfectly in his presser, was that it just seemed to have a snowball effect where each time they blitzed, it was more and more effective, and it made things more and more difficult for Salter. He got, his processing time. He was hurried, and his clock shortened, and he started making bad decisions. And so Utah had a lot of success. I think they blitzed over 70% of dropbacks against Caden Salter, got pressure on him 70% of the time. And I think that was the sort of game plan that, like I said earlier, when you are aggressive like that, when you can play on your toes and you can play downhill as emphatically as they did against Colorado, that's an exciting thing to, prep for all week long, right? And I think that was a big thing for Utah to, move forward, move past the loss last year, to not let the emotions linger. There were mistakes made on the defensive side of the ball, and I think having this sort of game, like you said, Alex, this was a get-right game for the defense, and I think it should lead to, better play down the stretch as well.
And you just look forward to the schedule. I mean, looking at what Utah has left to do, how favorable do you think the schedule is for them to reach that goal that we talked about earlier? Because we're looking ahead. Yeah. They can't look ahead, but we can. So why not? What is that path that you see? I know you do a lot of work. You're looking at things based on what we've seen. We talked about the Texas Tech injury situation earlier. What is the path for Utah to get where they want to go?
Yeah, I mean, for Utah, it just went out, right? And when you look ahead at the schedule, obviously you got Cincinnati this week. Cincinnati's going to be the toughest test of the remaining 4 games on the schedule. But, Baylor, Kansas State, and Kansas, these are 3 teams that, if you had to put a book on them right now, it would be run the ball, don't turn it over, and just play good defense. And, that sounds like a formula that bodes well for Utah, right? When you go back and you look at some of the games against Kansas State and some of the performances against Baylor, go back to last week. I mean, Cincinnati and Baylor, Cincinnati took control of that game because of their balanced attack, running the ball and throwing the ball, down the field, taking advantage of opportunities. So you like the way that Utah matches up with those 3 programs. And again, as long as they take care of business against Cincinnati, you can then start to look ahead at those 3 games. Again, like I said, I think Utah matches up well with all 3. And, as long as Utah wins out, that's going to have them in the tiebreaker scenario conversation. And there's a lot of different things that can lead to Utah going to Arlington for the Big 12 title race. Obviously, they're going to need help, elsewhere. But you get into some of those tiebreaker situations, and a lot of them actually break Utah's way currently. But again, it's all going to be about Utah taking care of business and getting the win against Cincinnati.
Steve Bartle, he's our Ute insider for KSLSports.com. You can find his byline there and see the full read-up. You can also go check out those. One of the newest ones today is, of course, the blackout unis looking sharp for a this Saturday game, and I can't believe we're already in November here, Steve. But thanks for all the insights, man. We'll talk to you this weekend, and thanks again.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good show, fellas.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve Bartle, everybody. I think everybody you think about where I want to remind people where their feelings were at this point last year for Utah.
Oh, my gosh.
This is when they lost a game last year, it was a slide. And this one, you lose to Texas Tech, you get right, and you figure some things out. You lose to BYU, you figure it out again. And those are the types of things that carry you into moments that, you can bank and have an experience later on in the season that'll make you really, really tough to beat. I mean, honestly, if you were to match up a healthy BYU and a healthy Utah in Arlington. I have no idea what I mean, I'm sure both fan bases would go, oh, dude, we'd kill those dudes.
The truth is, flip a coin again.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's phenomenal.
Let me say this about Utah, where they're at right now. 6-2. They're already bowl eligible, so that's a big improvement. At this time last year, through 8 games, they were coming off a 17-14 loss at Houston. Remember how awful that felt? Remember how that was 4 straight losses, and then they weren't done.
Yeah.
They, of course, had the disappointment of the BYU game, getting blown out at Colorado, and then losing a heartbreaker at home to Iowa State. That was the middle of that patch where you're like, what is going on here? Think of the different feeling you have right now if you're a Utah fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Texas Tech game, that broke your heart. Losing to BYU was miserable. But consider the improvement. Consider the difference in this team. There's growth and there's improvement from last year to this year that has to have you excited about what's coming next. And I'm not just talking about the next 4 games. I'm talking about next year. There's a lot of these guys on this team, outside of a couple that are probably going to the NFL, are coming back.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be excited about with this team. We just talked about the run game. All the guys that are doing that are coming back. You just got to figure out some things off with the offensive line. But the running backs and quarterbacks, and they're back. So there's a lot of promise there.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. When we return, we've got ourselves a little conversation to have about the coaching carousel in college football. Isn't it nice that your team doesn't have to have this discussion that so many others are going to be having? And not just in the offseason, but just right now, middle of the season. So stay right here. I've also got some more Jazz tickets to give away for you on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Stay here, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a much-needed off week for the Cougars as they rest up for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Okay, it's that time of the day for us to be able to give some stuff away to you. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. That means caller number 12 right now gets a pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers tomorrow night at Delta Center. All you have to do is just be calling number 12. You don't have to have any right answers. You don't have to guess what weird play that GJ and PK picked for this week. Boy, can we tell people what it was? Yeah, it was a day after now.
Yeah.
Of all the things that happened over the weekend, they chose Cooper Flagg's dunk on Monday. I was just wondering. We were all kind of looking at each other like, that's the one they did, huh? Okay.
They kind of mailed that one in.
Are they trying to, is it like a little bit of a feel bad for yourself?
Are they trolling Jazz fans?
Well,
is
that's
that
what I'm
saying?
Like, remember how cool it was? You could have had this guy.
Yeah. Remember how they lost?
Remember how
you lost the lottery?
He had 2 points. What's the Mavericks record?
Not good.
If the playoffs were to start today.
Let's do it. If the playoffs were to start today, the Dallas Mavericks would not be in it.
No.
They are 1-3.
Nah,
they have the second worst record in the West. Only the Pelicans
second worst record
are
in the
worst
West.
at 0-3. The Mavericks and Phoenix Suns are both 1-3.
All right. Well,
so I guess that's not working out so well.
I told you so, Nico.
Another Nico failure.
I told you that guy was going to suck.
Shouldn't have drafted him.
All right.
Should have drafted Dylan Harper.
801-575-ZONE.
He's got the Spurs at 4-0.
All you have to do is call us. Call number 12, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. Pair of tickets to see the Jazz and the Trailblazers tomorrow night at Delta Center. All right. Let me see here. So here are the current coaching vacancies in college football. What interim is going to be lucky to land the job full-time out of these groups?
What interim?
What interim is going to be the guy? Because, out of these...
Who's going to get their interim tag removed?
Some guy... Oh, isn't that the dumbest?
A lengthy medical procedure.
Surgically removing the interim tag takes a while.
Coach is going to be out a couple weeks. He had his interim tag removed.
He's like... Oh, my gosh. Ask your doctor if Sky Rizzi for interim tag removal is right for you.
Ask your doctor if interim tag removal is right for you.
So the coaching
May
carousel
cause nausea and headaches.
I won't say the other side effects that make me absolutely disgusted when I'm watching my own sporting events that I wish I could just get through without having to hear those things. Boy,
You don't want to see some woman dancing because she's taking Jardians?
Jardians. Pharmaceutical companies have really taken over those spaces.
Hey, I lowered my A1C. Let's do a musical.
Get out of here. Oh, my
I feel
goodness.
like dancing.
Hi, I'm former world tennis #1, Serena Williams. Watch me inject medicine on television. LSU, Florida, Penn State, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Stanford. All of these different programs, which one is the one you wouldn't touch with a 39.5-foot pole?
UCLA.
Really? Of all those coaching jobs, that's the one you
can't
want to
win there.
Okay.
When's the last time they won there? Chip Kelly couldn't win there.
I think in a similar vein, Stanford might be on that list of
You can win at Stanford.
in 2025, in 2026.
I think you can.
I don't know.
You got to be the right guy. You got to. What? Too bad they're in the ACC.
I was going to say, are they going to shift over?
They should. Honestly, they should.
I was going to say that actually. If you were like, I know if you were breaking some news that like Stanford
and Cal should go back to
Stanford
the
and Cal
new
were going to
Pac-12.
re-accept invitations. Hey, we're sorry about all that. Blah, blah, blah. And look, but I'm telling you, in the ACC, whatever world this is that they're in, I think it's super hard to win at Stanford because their school isn't committed to.
Neither's UCLA.
I know, but I think that they could be. UCLA would be more open to let's pay some ungodly amounts of money to people so that they can get here and win. Okay,
They've already tried that. It's not working.
Stanford won't. I don't think Stanford will ever.
Stanford hasn't tried yet. That's my point.
Yeah.
Is if you could get them, if you could convince people in that camp with Andrew Luck's support.
I was going to say one of the smartest
to get
dudes
back in to use your resources, to use your alumni. You don't have to touch their fund that they won't let them touch. But my goodness, you can't get alumni donors. You can't do at Stanford what BYU has done. Baloney. You just got to go make the connections. You just got to hire the right guy that can go do it. Stanford is a sleeping giant.
There's a bunch of bull junk. Is that job open?
It's not an easy job. I'm not saying it's an easy job. But look, nobody thought that Stanford could win when Jim Harbaugh took the job. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
Pre-Jim Harbaugh, Stanford was 2 wins a year. Remember Ty Willingham? And they were bad.
Gosh, Ty Willingham. Just leaving programs in his wake. Notre Dame, Stanford, Washington went 0-12. Terrible years. What I was going to say, JJ, was this. Those are some difficult places to win. The one that I don't want to have the pressure ever at, because now you've ripped the Band-Aid off of absolutely unreasonable expectations at places like LSU. Penn State is going to have those. You get rid of one of the coaches that got you out of one of your darkest moments or helped get you through some of the darkest moments of your program, and he took you to a college football semifinal last year, which, by the way, Penn State is not – like, they don't get to the college football playoff semifinals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And James Franklin got him there. And he's actually kind of a decent dude. Like, that's not a thing anymore. No one cares, right? Florida, they would absolutely cheat their way to the top, which means they'll also leave you in their wake if you're their head coach. LSU has now entered the realm of we don't know what we're doing. We're just throwing money at it, which is where some programs are right now. Arkansas feels like a place you can't win. Oklahoma State has promise. Because
I think that's a great job,
Oklahoma
actually.
State has promise.
They've done it.
They've done it before. They have resources. They have great facilities, actually.
They just need new energy. They need new fuel, new blood. Mike Gundy got tired, and he didn't adapt. They need a young, hungry coach, kind of like what they got going on at Oregon, that can go in there and get that going because the money is there.
The money is there. And I also think that the expectations there are reasonable and are open for being able to have success still. Because unreasonable is LSU pretending like we have won more national championships than we actually have.
Same with Florida, 100%.
Same thing with Florida.
Expectations are way too high.
The reality is this. Florida had, the 08-09 seasons, or 07-08. Prior to that, JJ, honestly, ask yourself, how much of a superpower has Florida ever really been?
The Steve Spurrier years were good, but when I was growing up, Florida was not that big of a deal.
That's what I'm saying. No, they were good back then, but they weren't winning national championships.
Not even close.
Except for when Tebow came
won
to town.
in '96 with Spurrier, correct? With Danny Werfel. 2006 and 08 with
Tim Tebow,
and Urban Meyer. That's it. You're right. Outside of that,
but see, these are programs. These are programs that pretend that they're bigger than they actually are, and that's part of the problem. And then they have this weird slush fund that they can play with. It's so stupid. So the best jobs on this list are probably Oklahoma State. I don't know what to do with Virginia Tech. It
feels like the Beamer years were kind of, I don't know what.
But again, they had one.
It's kind of like Colorado State with what's his name. The great coach they had back in the 90s, 2000s. They got that thing going, and they were nationally ranked. It was like this great era of Colorado State football. And I've already forgot his name.
So good that we have no idea who he is.
I had a point to make it. If I could remember his name, it would have been a great point.
I'll tell you what, those were great years under old what's his name. That's what the alumni are saying at the meetings.
Dang, what an idiot. Sonny Lubick.
Oh, Lubick. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Listen,
Sonny Lubick was awesome in 15 years there.
Yeah.
Won a lot of games. But since then and before then, I know it's kind of apples and oranges, but that's how Virginia Tech feels.
Don't touch Penn State, Florida, or LSU. You're never going to get.
You won't meet you're right.
They're not going to get the return on investment ever. And you as a head coach, you're not going to be happy there.
You know what? I feel like you could do it at Arkansas if you're the right guy.
Arkansas is enough under the radar.
They're wanting to spend.
Yeah, but they have this.
They just don't know how to do it.
They also have this thing where they're like, we're in the SEC, and everyone's like, settle down.
Jerry Jones is a booster.
You were in the SWAC like 5 seconds ago.
You can do stuff at Arkansas. They just haven't had the right hire.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll come back. Did we give those tickets away? All right. Are we doing it again next hour? Great. So stay tuned. We've got more tickets to give away. Coming up, I've got a top 10 for you. We also have at the top of the hour, Cole Bagley, our Utah Mammoth insider for KSLSports.com. He's going to give us a vibe as to what this next test on the road looks like tonight. Mammoth, Oilers, face-off tonight at 7:30 to start things off. The puck drops then, 6:30 pregame. Don't miss any of it right here on your radio home of the Utah Mammoth, 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone. We'll be back. More to go.
Gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready.
The Utes get set for another huge Big 12 game as they square off against Cincinnati. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Thanks for being with us on the program today. You can always download the podcast wherever podcasts are found. And, JJ, I was going to ask you this question here because when Kyle has to be like, oh, hey, there's no quarterback controversy of any kind, I feel like when you have to say it, sometimes there's a little bit more than maybe you thought.
Nah,
well, is that me being?
We in the media and you as fans, we've seen them both play, so we can all have fun with it and debate and compare and contrast. Ultimately, what we say doesn't matter because all that matters is the opinion of the coaches up on the hill. So that's their opinion. Devin Dampier's QB1. There is no controversy. So we're having fun with it, and it's tribute to Bird's play, but there's no controversy.
Okay.
Devin Dampier's QB1.
All right. JJ, I have in front of me. I was thinking about the across the world of watching television. You're our TV guy, and periodically I like to dip in and kind of see what the most watched sporting events are in any given year. And like right now, I had this. Geez, it just went away again. So thank you very much. Let me see here. The largest sporting events watched across 2025. You ready for this?
Up until now.
Up until now.
Okay.
So now these are the problem with this is that like I guess you tell me the difference between TV ratings and then like the viewership. So explain to people who are listening out there when they go, you got a rating and then you have like
rating, or you talking about share?
I'm talking about like a million.
Rating is people that have watched.
Okay.
So if they say 5 million viewers, that means 5 million people watched the game. So that's what they're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying is
Okay.
and I was watching it and I was like, okay, let's see what we've got here. So I've got in front of me the top 10 of the most watched events in all of sports for this year in 2025. Ready? Oh, this guy's got his headset on like he's going to participate. Oh, he took it off? He's out now? Okay.
Oh, man.
You could have helped out. These aren't that tough. All right, on your mark. Get set. Go.
Final four? National championship game in college basketball. The Super Bowl, obviously.
Ding.
Number one. The college football national championship game. College football semifinals. NFL regular season games. Cowboys, Eagles.
I need you to think a little bit more broadly. This is why Alex is going to help out.
College football. Well, I mean, how broadly?
Worldly.
Oh, soccer events.
The World Cup.
Hey, now.
Was the World Cup this year?
World Cup wasn't this year. Was it?
The Euros. Sorry.
Ding.
Oh, we got it. Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
Keep going. What more soccer stuff? Help me out. The Olympics. That wasn't in 2025 either.
Champions League final.
Ding.
All right. The Four Nations hockey.
Hold on.
It's got to be on there. Oh my gosh, it wasn't?
No.
NBA All-Star game.
Oh my heavens! Why would that be?
Major
watched?
League Baseball All-Star game. Home Run Derby. Any NFL games. Any college football games. Kentucky Derby.
Oh, ding.
Okay, good.
You know what's funny about that? The freaking Kentucky Derby. You ready for the
It
top
still
10?
pulls because people gamble on
I
it.
know. You ready for the top 10?
Yeah.
You're going to be very disappointed in everybody around the world.
Okay.
But here we are. I
forgot it was worldly.
I know. I've got in front of me. Yeah. Full on. So, number 10 was the Tour de France. Did I say that correctly?
People still watch that?
Yes, they do, apparently. I think part of it is that it's a 3-week event. So you kind of pull a lot of numbers.
The sport in the United States took a big credibility hit with Lance Armstrong.
2.8 billion viewers
And that's amazing.
of the Tour de France
That is
over those
amazing.
3 weeks.
That's a tribute
I
to
know,
the sport.
That's what I'm telling you.
Don't get me wrong. It's very
Okay?
popular.
Kentucky Derby across the world, number 9
Okay, I snuck that in.
at 2.9 billion people ended up watching it.
My goodness.
I know.
2.9 billion?
Yes. Because people horse racing is
2.9 billion people watched it?
I think a total.
That's insane.
I know. I don't know what to tell you.
That's like a fifth of the planet.
I think it's like if anybody dips in at any point.
Oh my gosh.
I guess, yeah.
Like babies in Cameroon watching? Give me a break. How do you get to 2.9 billion?
Hey, you know what?
With a B.
You know what? Now that you said that, they expect that, or the Africa Cup of Nations is actually one of the most watched. Yes. Mm-hmm. Don't give
Annapolis
me
is shocked.
Don't think that you have the corner of the market over here, Mr. MLS. No MLS, by the way. The UEFA League's Champion League, the UEFA Champion League's final was at Allianz Arena in Munich was the 6th most watched event. The Women's Rugby World Cup.
Women's rugby
Was 7th.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Would never have guessed.
Super Bowl was 3rd.
Got a big lift. Women's rugby got a big lift from the Summer
Wimbledon's
Olympics.
huge. Wimbledon
I
is
didn't
a top
even hit it.
5.
Tennis
Yeah, I know.
one.
Wimbledon's a top 5 every year. Let me see. Let me get. You know what was sneaky? Almost snuck into the top 10. It was like way before any of the other like football events. The World Snooker Championship.
Snooker? What's that?
Alex, bonus points if you know what snooker is. It is. It's like a really weird game of pool. That's not like a normal game of pool. Look up this. Like darts and snooker. It takes over. I'm telling you, people are weird. And when I say people, I mean non-Americans watch weird things.
Snooker is a cue sport played on a large baize-covered table with 6 pockets, similar to pool.
What is that color? What's baize?
Green?
Anyway, I just wanted to put us out there and see where we're at. All right.
Did you get all 10 up?
No, I did.
left?
Yeah, I said them all. Yeah.
Oh, they did. Oh, we did. Okay.
Now, from here in the United States, though, the Super Bowl, 3 different NFL games, the NFL draft actually
that makes sense.
did really well between the 24th and the 26th. The Final Four, the national championship games, both were a top 10 in the United States.
So I would have killed it if we were just doing the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
The MLB All-Star Game and the World Series both track very, very high. So there you go.
Okay.
All right. We will come back. We've got more around the corner. We've got ourselves Cole Bagley, who's going to get us ready for the Mammoth and the Edmonton Oilers facing off tonight at 7:30 is going to be when the puck drops. 6:30 is going to be your pregame right here on the KSL Sports Zone. More to go. Stay with us. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. So, I was watching the World Series yesterday, and I was just thinking about how funny it was that, like, that net that extends all the way down the first and third baselines and behind home plate, that thing is massive and expansive now. It also seems wild that we went years without it, that we went centuries without it. you know, the 140 years without that, because those balls are getting hit, are getting fouled off at 180 miles an hour backward toward a 9-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching it last night and I was going, oh, man. And it's a little bit of a bummer because you don't get the guys diving into the crowd to make the catch anymore up against the net. They can't do it. If it gets behind the net, it's over with. Yeah. And if the ball touches the net, it's foul. So the ball falling and it's still 20 feet, above a player who definitely could make that catch, it's not. You can't do it anymore. So the game has changed a little bit. I was a little bit like, oh, man. But then I thought about it, and I was like, remember how we were like, it seemed like somebody died every year. In minor league or Major League Baseball parks, they would get hurt, critically injured.
I'm glad they put the nets up.
I know. It's just as crazy that we went without it for all those years. Like, and yet the view of it was so good. So, anyway, it's crazy. We good to go? Let's get things kicked off here. Cole Bagley, he's our Utah Mammoth insider for KSLSports.com. Let's jump in right here. And we'll get things going with the cut, and we'll jump in with him.
It's time to talk hockey with the Utah Mammoth and NHL insider on KSLSports.com. Cole Bagley on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Cole Bagley is our Utah Mammoth insider for KSLSports.com. Our show, of course, is always this hour brought to you by the good folks at Trajan Wealth, TRAJAN Wealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. The Mammoth are 8-2, Cole. I'm going to try not to say anything that makes it sound like I'm trying to jinx all the things that are going on here, but I don't care who you are. Anybody should be surprised a little bit by these results so far with the Mammoth, right?
Oh, 100%. I don't think anybody on their bingo card had Utah 8-2 through 10 games, tied for the best record in the National Hockey League, and Nick Schmaltz is leading the way in terms of points. No, it's incredible what they're doing. It's unfortunately it is not going to be sustainable through the next 72 games, but they're showing good signs. And I think there are a lot of areas that are going to be close to sustainable, and if they can kind of hover close to what they're doing in some of the key areas, I think it's safe to say this is a playoff team. It's early. There's a lot of things that could happen, that could change, but to start off this hot, to be getting the type of production that they're getting from their top six, to have kind of those fill-in shifts from the third and the fourth lines. The defense looks incredibly good, from the top pairing all the way down to number 3, and then the goaltending. I mean, both guys are standing on their heads. So, I say that this is not sustainable to kind of put things into perspective and to maybe curb expectations a little bit. but they're playing good hockey. I think there's a lot of areas that they can continue to play similarly, and if they do so, they're probably going to win, 40, 45, maybe pushing a little bit more than that in terms of games, and I expect them to make the playoffs.
It would be disappointing at this point, seeing how well they're playing right now. It's not just the record, it's how well they're playing. And you look at the stars that are emerging on this team, and you're hearing people nationally talk about it, Cole. We know what they are. We watch them every day and follow it. But all the national hockey people are starting to catch on to this. Frank Saravalli was talking about today, saying the Mammoth are possibly entering contender status, which he said it, not us. He said it. But they're generating that kind of buzz because they deserve it, because that's how well they're playing. And specifically, you look what Logan Cooley did this week. It's insane. I mean, 5 goals in 2 games like that, and including a natural hat trick. I mean, he's earning that contract. It's just a matter of time, right? I mean, he's been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy a difference that a week makes, because through the first week of the season they're 1-2. They had what seemed like a pretty shaky loss in Chicago, and obviously the first loss against Colorado was kind of a commendable one where they played really well, but they barely got through Nashville. They almost didn't deserve to win that game, and then like I said, they lost to Chicago, who was one of the worst teams in the NHL a year ago, and I'm still not overly sold that they're going to be a playoff team at all. But no, every game that goes by, Logan Cooley just continues to deepen his value. Every shift, every period, every game, you just hear you just see more dollar signs, more zeros, I think, tack on, to the end of that deal. And like I said a week ago, actually on my podcast, we were kind of discussing that, going, hey, Logan Cooley kind of bet on himself, and he's not exactly playing up to that. Well, fast forward 7 days, and he's one of the league leaders in goals, and had 5 goals, not only in back-to-back games, but in 8 seconds of offensive zone possession time. He is scoring. He is scoring incredibly efficiently. His line is one of the best lines in the NHL, not just one of the best young lines, but one of the statistical best lines in the NHL in a lot of key statistical areas. So we're kind of seeing the emergence of a superstar, I think. And what's fun is it's not just one guy. Dylan Guenther, 11 of his last 17 goals are game winners. Talk about clutch, maybe the most clutch player in the NHL right now. And he's on a bargain contract, right? Under $7.25 for the next 7 seasons. By the time his contract's up, he may be worth double what he's getting paid now. And then Peterka on the other side. There's just so much going right for Utah. And it's been electric and it's been fun. And we'll see what they can do tonight against Edmonton.
Cole, J.J. Peterka is one of those guys, now you mentioned his name, that has been showing up on the scoring sheet with some assists. He's not getting the goal scoring that some of these other guys are doing, but what's your assessment of Peterka so far? I thought probably the best play that he's made all season was to set up that final goal to beat the Jets the other night, was getting down the ice, out-hustling a defenseman, putting himself right in there, getting the pass to the middle. That second pass goes and gets the game winner to Guenther. Where's J.J. Peterka fitting in all this so far? Do you feel like he's on point with this? And I feel like with him, it's going to be that the goals are going to also start coming.
Yeah, I think, he's fit in seamlessly. There's a little bit of an adjustment period in the preseason and the first few games, but the guys really didn't play together all that much during training camp because, Cooley was out for the majority, and then Peterka missed a couple days with a small injury as well. So now you're kind of seeing what the team envisioned, what the team saw, and it's blazing, lethal speed. And I think, while Cooley, I believe statistically, Cooley has registered the second fastest speed on the ice behind either Nate McKinnon or McDavid this year. I feel like Peterka is kind of the one taking the lead in terms of utilizing his speed to create dangerous opportunities. It's often him off the rush, entering the zone with the puck on his stick and then dumping off a pass to, whoever, Cooley or Guenther or the defense. But like you pointed out, I just think he's a lot more team-centered than he was in Buffalo. That was just not a very well-constructed team. He was obviously a bright spot And I think he just kind of played to his strengths, and he was scoring a lot of goals. Well, now he's on a team that's a lot more talented, top to bottom in terms of offense, and he's playing on a much better line than he was a year ago. He's playing on a much better team that is, probably going to be a playoff team, and we'll see what their ceiling ends up being. But yeah, I've been impressed with him. I'm not really surprised necessarily that he's registering more assists than goals, just for the reasons that I all kind of just suggested. I mean, you've got arguably the best shot in the NHL in Dylan Guenther, and then you've got one of the budding superstars in Logan Cooley. Yeah, you're probably not going to score as many goals as you were a year ago, but the points are still there, the production is still there. Yeah, I think he'll probably pick up his goal scoring here as time goes on. I don't think they're going to be as few and far between, but at the end of the day, I just don't think that line really cares how the puck goes in the net. I think they just care on putting it in the net and putting it in the net as consistently as possible. It doesn't matter who's on the end of it. So, a lot of things to like about that, the kid line, as they've been calling them as of late.
Nick Schmaltz is one of the best stories in the NHL so far. Leads the league in points. He's second in goals with 7. Can you explain how he's emerged and become one of the best scorers? I don't know how sustainable this is, but it's fun right now, and I'm sure he's enjoying the ride. How has he taken his game to another level this year?
Yeah, I think he's on pace for like 138 points.
Yeah, that's about right.
Man.
That's not going to happen. But I think he'll be close to 80, 90, and he might even knock on the door of 100. Wow. And I think to answer the question, I believe it's his confidence. A year ago, it took him about 20 to 25 games to even score a goal. And now he's leading the NHL in points. He's playing just out of his mind. Some other interesting, kind of stats is, so before their current road trip, Schmaltz led the league in inner slot scoring chances, 13. Currently, he is 4th in high danger shots on goal with 17, and he's leading the league in high danger goals with 5. And I think the difference is just his confidence is a lot higher. The puck started going in the net a lot earlier, and so his confidence is sky high, and he is dominating in close to the net. The vast majority of his goals are coming on the inside. They're coming in the low slot. They're coming in the crease. They're coming off of one-timers from Clayton Keller. Another interesting stat is during this streak, of the 10 goals that those two have combined for, 6 of them have been on primary assists from the other, and 2 others have been secondary assists. So they are linking up. Every time the puck's going in the net from one of those guys, it's the other one, who's setting them up. And, to even add, I actually did a deep statistical dive on this today. So that's why I'm firing on all cylinders here with all these different numbers. They're beautifully constructed. Barrett Hayton is the unsung hero of that line. He's not necessarily generating a lot of points, individual points on the score sheet, but I think a lot of the success comes from maybe the overlooked work that he does. He's winning 54% of his faceoffs, which generates extra offensive zone possessions for those two. He's trying to dominate the middle of the ice, the center of the ice, and when he's not able to do that, he's then trying to maybe play as a decoy around the net and pull some of that pressure and whatnot away from Nick Schmaltz, which has provided him with those opportunities. And then for Clayton Keller, it's all about possession. He loves to operate on that right wing. It's this really strange kind of innate ability where he can slow things down and yet still play incredibly fast and put the puck in dangerous areas, on the tape of Nick Schmaltz consistently and others. So I think it's a combination of all of those things, and his confidence is through the roof. And keep going, Schmaltz. Like keep proving them wrong and keep putting pucks in the net because it's helping the team win.
He's Cole Bagley. He's our Utah Mammoth insider for KSLSports.com. Of course, the puck drops tonight in Edmonton at 7:30, 6:30 pregame right here on the KSL Sports Zone. Looking forward to it. Cole, thanks for hanging out with us, man. We'll chat with you again.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Cole.
Cole Bagley. Hey, Edmonton's a good team. They're 4-4 on the season. I think they're about where they think that they're going to be right now. That's a team that has been in the last 2 Stanley Cup finals. And they know how to win. They have a couple of the best players on the entire planet Earth that are in their corner. And so this is going to be another test. And you know what's interesting is that the Mammoth have a couple days off. It's actually weird. It's almost like, no, man. No breaks here. Get no breaks because having a couple days off, it's almost better that they've been playing so many back-to-back games or just kind of right on top of each other. So
they don't have time to think about it.
Just go play. Yeah, the road tests continue tonight, and then they come back home for one, and they go back on the road again. So
could they really continue and win in Edmonton tonight? Could they really do this? And if they win tonight,
then what? But it's just it's funny to me because the reality is if they don't,
it's not just the streak; it's who they're beating in the streak.
Yeah.
It's the best teams in the West.
Yeah,
most of them. It would be insane.
It is pretty funny. It is pretty funny to watch, and who knows? I don't know if
to beat the Oilers in their building. By the way, the Oilers are off to a 4-4-2 start, and that might be a team that's kind of bored with regular seasons. Connor McDavid only has 1 goal this year.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's going to continue. It's like by the end of the year, is Nick Schmaltz going to have more points?
He might have 5 by the end of the night.
That's what I was going to say. Is Nick Schmaltz going to outscore Connor McDavid? Outpoint Connor McDavid?
You wouldn't think so, but he is right now.
Right. So I don't know. Don't hate it. So tonight, the Edmonton Oilers hosting the Utah Mammoth. The Mammoth are on the road. They come back again for another one at home. Who are they playing at home? Remind me. I think it's an
Tampa Bay Lightning.
That's an Eastern Conference
Sunday.
team. So we'll see how that one goes. And again, that's another test. It's your Stanley Cup champion.
The Lightning, another team off to a disappointing start. Just 8 points so far.
But are you believing that, or are you believing something a little along the lines of,
I can't imagine. But
yeah, the Mammoth have
get old fast.
The Mammoth have them doubled up on points so far this year.
Who would have guessed?
So, all right, we'll take another break here. We'll come back. When we return, I think we have our NFL Blitz, of course, our daily moment to dip in with the league and kind of see where we're at here. Also, we've got our best and worst coming up. You don't want to miss any of those as well. If you missed any of the portions of the program, you can listen to our Utah Utes insider, Steve Bartle. Go back and listen to that segment. Or also, we just chatted with Cole Bagley, who gave you the insights. He had all the numbers, man, today. He had it all dialed up. He's ready to go and ready to take this one on. They both do a phenomenal job covering their beats. And so we'll take a break here. We'll come back. Download the podcast wherever podcasts are found. And we'll be right back around the corner with our NFL Blitz and some Jazz tickets to give away on a Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Stay here, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
What are you over this? I've been doing this show for 2.5 hours. I just love the Western Nut Company. You know, Ruth's Chris has always delivered on the sides. Hey, Annapolis, come on, man. We're getting through this together. You got to be here for us, man. We don't need to be here for you. We can't be here for you.
Hey, Doug, what should I get my wife for Christmas?
Just a Ruth's Chris box of gravy.
A Ruth's Chris box of gravy?
You know what? I think
you can buy gravy in a box?
Call them today.
I'm kind of fascinated.
Get set up.
Gravy in a box? How's that work?
You know what? Patent pending. This is my idea, not yours. Gravy box. Just in time for Thanksgiving, it's gravy box.
I think we just created something new.
Man. Family member didn't deliver on the gravy.
It's gravy. It's in a box.
Let me go out to the car here. Hey, by the way, want to make sure everybody knows we got tickets to the Jazz tomorrow night against the Portland Trailblazers. How are the Trailblazers doing, by the way, in the West?
They're good.
They're not.
They're 2-2.
Oh, see, couple teams of the.
They're no longer bad. They're officially mid.
2 win teams facing off.
It's been a while since the Blazers have been mid.
In Salt Lake City tomorrow night. Jazz Ticket Tuesday means that we're going to give you a pair of tickets to the Jazz and the Trailblazers right now. All you have to be is caller number 12, 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663, 801-575-ZONE. Jazz, Trailblazers, Delta Center. Tomorrow night. There you go. Oh, my goodness. Travis Kelce, annoyingly, leads the Chiefs all time with the touchdown catch that he had last night. A vintage performance for him. Not just that. We have to give it to the guy. He's annoying. His relationship all over the internet is kind of annoying, but pretty darn good football player. And I'll tell you what, too, he's had to deliver because people were wondering if he's fallen off, and I'll tell you, he was steady. 83 touchdowns, by the way. Tying Priest Holmes for the most touchdowns in Chiefs franchise history. I'm actually shocked that Priest Holmes scored that many touchdowns.
He was,
prolific.
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but for a period of time, he was the top fantasy running back for a period of, 5 years?
Yeah.
He was the man.
So, yeah, he scored a ton, but I wouldn't have thought that it took this long because Travis Kelce feels like he scores 3 touchdowns a game the way they talk about him, you know?
Yeah.
Vintage night for him, though. This is like a perfect... If you were to draw up an evening or a stat line for Travis Kelce, like for his career, this is what I will picture in my mind always. 6 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like just...
That's old-fashioned
boom.
Travis Kelce.
He just delivered.
He was good last night.
And Patrick Mahomes, annoyingly, and his Chiefs have gotten better.
Tell me about it.
Over the weeks. So what are they, 5-3 now?
Yes.
Just a game
it's
behind.
not just 5-3. What have they won 4 of their last 5?
Yes, and they're just and Patrick Mahomes. He threw 2 picks last night, but he throws 3 touchdowns now every game. I think he's got 6 games in a row.
If he throws more touchdowns and picks, and they're getting in the end zone and winning 28-7, who cares?
And it was just what's crazy for me is watching that Chiefs team and going, oh, their defense is really good. Shoot, that's tough. That's a tough one to take. That their defense is actually probably better than their offense. Like on paper, right?
Yeah.
You watch them. There are few teams who fly around like they do. And that's a scary sign, I think, for a lot of the other teams across the AFC. My son asked me last night, he goes, all right, so what do you think the Super Bowl is going to be? And I was like, he goes, it's going to be like the Colts and the Packers. And I was like, that's not a bad guess.
It's probably going to be the Chiefs and the Eagles.
I know, and then he goes, "God, I don't think the Eagles are that good right now." And I go, and the Chiefs, they're not as good as they used to be. I went, okay. He goes, no, the Bills. It's either going to be the Bills or the Colts. And I said, don't just go for the shiny new thing. And by the way, the Bills, I don't know if I wouldn't want to say quietly.
They're not even in first place.
They're not, but they're still, they're good. I think they're still going to be fine. But the Chiefs
don't fall for the cute little nice starts. Don't fall for the Colts or the Patriots.
okay.
It's great. It's a great story, but they're not going to go to the Super Bowl.
You can't fight years of Loserville for what's them names? The
Who's
Colts.
that team in the NFC? I just identified those two.
The Buccaneers are kind of there, but they've fallen off a little bit.
They've hit a skid
hey,
here.
Will you allow me to bring up the Seahawks at all, or?
Absolutely, they're
Why
5-2, right?
Yeah,
5-2. They've won 2 straight. And I think that's probably the best nomination you have there of a team that's been. I don't know how you want to describe what the Seahawks have been the last 3 or 4 years, but
yeah, Sam Darnold.
I thought they were going to suck.
I did too, and they kind of they're not like I don't watch them and go, man, that team.
They're probably going to win that division because the 49ers have too many injuries.
Way too many injuries.
The Rams have similar problems.
And
the Seahawks are the most consistent in that division.
I love. You know what? I congratulate you. You didn't even mention the Cardinals because who wants to mention the Cardinals ever? Annapolis knows.
They've lost 5 in a row.
You don't even mention the Cardinals
because they've lost 5 in a row.
How long does Kyler Murray stay the starting quarterback?
They should have pulled the plug on that a while ago.
No, instead they signed him up for more years and more money.
Smart.
It's fine. Let me see here. Next up, Spencer Rattler lost his starting quarterback job? What? Hold on. Let me go back and make sure this is true because he's had a heck of a year. Sorry. That was mean. Tyler Shough. Going to get the start. over Spencer Rattler. What a bad quarterback room that is. You just say those two names.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew the Saints were going to be bad.
Yes.
And then the surprise Derek Carr retirement. And they were kind of left in no man's land when it came. I mean, at this point, just have Taysom Hill line up. Serious. Who cares? You're 1-7.
I don't know what to think because
let Taysom Hill eat.
If you are Kellen Moore, like, are you looking and you go, eject? Or do you go, hey, this is a process? Because the NFL will give you a little bit of time, and but the problem is that their cap situation isn't going to be solved for a minute. It's going to be a problem for a minute.
Yeah, that's why they're in this situation.
Yeah.
It's their cap problem.
So that's not good.
Bad spending. I don't know what the leash is for Kellen Moore, but we've seen guys brought in for a year and canned, even when you think they're in a situation where patience is required.
Hey, so I was going to bring up, I saw this interesting interview Lamar Jackson did with, he inexplicably wears the balaclava like every interview. He's like, I just want everybody to only see this part of my face right here.
He's just trying to stay warm.
Sure. But the reality is he does this interview, and they were asking him about the new locker room. Did you see the pictures of the new renderings of the new digs?
No, I did not.
It's awesome. And you know what he did? They were asking him for input, which you do for a franchise guy. Hey, man, what do you think about the new locker room? He said, take the ping pong table out, take the pool table out, take any of the games, take they said any of the electronics, places like that, and we can't have them back until we start winning again. So they did it.
Wow.
They took out all the toys out of the locker room. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And the locker room is phenomenal. But you remember years ago, you and I both went to that to the Detroit facility, and we watched practice, and then we interviewed guys after practice. And Matthew Stafford's the quarterback at that point. Everybody wanted to interview him. We wanted to interview Kyle Van Noy, who was like not really wanting to talk because he was in like football depression mode.
Yeah.
It was like bad times for him.
Yeah.
His career took off, of course, after he left.
Yep.
But Detroit was a certain kind of hell if you were a defensive player.
Back then, they were good. They were not good.
But you remember in the middle of that locker room, they had a ping pong table.
Mm-hmm.
And there were guys more interested in competing on the ping pong table than they were at practice, it felt like. Right?
Yeah.
And they were saying, too, they're like, oh, yeah, he's so good at ping pong. And you're like, you guys are talking way more about ping pong than I feel like you should be. And it was intense, too, by the way. I mean, like, these are competitors.
Yeah.
But guys were throwing paddles at each other. It was pretty funny to watch.
I missed that part. Was there a paddle fight?
2 offensive linemen got after it, not in good fun.
Okay.
But nothing with 2 300-pound guys isn't good fun in a locker room, especially when like there's just a towel on.
You shouldn't play ping pong in your towel.
No. Lots of slides and towels that day. And ping pong. Ping pong, ping pong. There goes Tusky again.
Oh, boy.
The New York Giants have said that they have no interest in trading Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't like Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, you remember interviewing Kayvon Thibodeau at Pac-12 Media Days? He was like lame-o. I didn't like him.
Didn't want to be there.
Did not want to be there. Had glasses on, you know. And the same year that you've got like Justin Herbert, who's like, hey, anything you guys need? And we're like, man, this guy's awesome. Kayvon Thibodeau has grown on me. I actually like that guy. By the way, he had that fumble on the tush push.
Yeah.
But I think he's gotten to a point now where he's making effort that is unavoidable to. He's always had the talent, but I like the talent. I like
He's a top 5 pick.
Yes, and I like, but guys have to turn a corner from an effort standpoint, and he's done it. He's a leader on that defense. I like what he does. Don't trade that guy. If you're the Giants, do not trade him. I know that it's so tempting now for teams who are crap.
Well, they have a lot of depth at that position.
They have a great defense, but that's what you do is you
keep the depth.
You keep the depth because your defense is going to be the only thing right now that's going to get you through. You've got a pretty darn good quarterback.
Brian Burns, and they drafted Abdul Carter. That's why he's expendable.
Right. Yeah.
Keep him.
Let me see here. Jaden Daniels looked like he's going to practice this week, but who knows? I feel like the Commanders' season is this close to being out of reach. Is that too early to say that?
Yeah, it's slipping. I got the standings in front of me.
What do you got?
Quick analysis. It's crazy. There's not a lot of great teams. There's a lot of teams that are right at 4-4, 3-4. So I don't know that. I think it's too early to say that, and there's still a lot of talent on that team. But Jaden Daniels needs to get healthy quick, and McLaurin wasn't healthy when Jaden Daniels was healthy.
Right. Yep.
So they got to get that combo going. I'm not going to rule them out yet. I think they're better than the Cowboys when they're healthy, but they're not healthy right now. And until they get healthy, then they're in trouble. They've lost 3 in a row. They were 3-2 at one point and looked like they were going to be just like they were last year. The good news for them is the door's somewhat open. The NFC West has been better than we thought. 3 teams with 5 wins. Probably only 1 team coming out of the NFC South. I think you're probably going to get 2 teams out of the North. And so that's that open spot. The Eagles are running away with the East. Can the Commanders sneak in and get that 7th spot? Well, yeah, and it's going to be tough. But of the 3 and 4 teams I see, or 3 and 4, 4 and 4, I think they have the best shot. The Falcons are too inconsistent. The Panthers aren't ready yet. I don't believe in the Bears. The Cowboys are the Cowboys. So that's the competition. And maybe the 49ers need to fall back again like they did last year after injuries.
The Cowboys are the Cowboys. That's not a good thing, by the way, these days.
That was not a compliment.
Remember how back in the day, man, the Cowboys, they're the Cowboys.
In the 90s, you'd say that as a compliment. That's not a compliment in 2025.
That's hilarious. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got more around the corner. Got our best and worst. So stay here. Stay dialed in. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Final segment of the hour. Best and worst coming at you here. Brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Appreciate their support. JJ, before I get to best and worst, I was reading this article today. So the wristband in the NFL. How many quarterbacks out of the 30 that are starting are wearing wristbands with the plays on them?
Out of the 30?
Out of the 30. Out of 30 quarterbacks.
I'll say half, 15.
20 are wearing them.
I guess 32 quarterbacks, right?
Oh, yeah, 32, sorry. 20 quarterbacks wearing them.
Okay.
I was reading this whole thing about how, you know, the thing now about why they use them is having the play on there, and then you have the coach relaying it in and saying, hey, 31. Instead of right 48, 19, switchblade left, XY, slot right, you know, doing these long, lengthy things. The quarterback will have it on his wrist. Dak Prescott refuses because, are you ready for this? Excuses as to why. Now, it's a thing. He's an NFL quarterback, not me. He's one of the top passers in the league, right?
Guess he doesn't need it, does he?
Values eye contact with teammates. It was his excuse he gave. It sounds very awkward, doesn't it? It's just like, nah, man. Coach, you keep that wristband. I like looking at my guys.
And I got it all right here in my brain.
I just love the idea of him being like, hey, my eyes are up here, okay? I'm trying to call a play over here. This offensive lineman like, what? So one quarterback anonymously polled has 200 plays on the wristband. 200 plays.
That's a lot.
It's a ton. Man, these guys have to have a lot in their head.
You have to be smart to
It's
play
gotta
quarterback
be
in the NFL.
Crazy. Them trying to deal with that whole thing.
Unless you just want to look your teammates in the eyes. Then not so much.
Whoa, my love. Start going ghost theme.
These eyes. Pick your song. Some song about eyes.
Hungry like the wolf maybe playing. They stare each other down in the huddle. Oh, my goodness. So I just love the idea that some
Got
quarterbacks
a little Zoolander thing going on in the quarterback wide receiver room.
They just start going, yeah. Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Hey, my eyes are up here. It's 3rd and 10, you guys. Look at me. Slot right. Look at me. Your touch. Get out of here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
That only applies when he's under center.
0 out slot, 62F slim, Z Montana flare. On 2, ready, break. That was a real play call, by the way. So, anyway, those guys are using, some of them are using, but they said it's actually become more, that more quarterbacks are using, in the NFL are using the wristbands than have ever before. So, there you go. Joe Flacco. That makes sense to me with the memory issues you'd have at that age. Sorry, I had to say it.
You can always use the reminder.
You know who never would? And I don't think so. Maybe he is one of the ones. I don't know. But Aaron Rodgers would never wear one, right?
That seems too old school.
Yes. That's the guy who's got like the single buckle on the.
That's why his helmet's so big, because all those plays are
They're
stored in
just
his
stored
brain.
in his head. Yeah. I think he has like a surround, like he has like a
He
JBL.
looks like Megamind when he's out there.
Yeah, he does. He has like a JBL stereo system in his head to hear the coaches loud and clear. Give me that Dolby 5.0 experience or 5.1 experience or whatever it is as you listen to my coaches call the plays in. Okay, best and worst. Here you go. Best and worst. Oh, Greg Sankey. This is one thing that I actually agree with the commissioner of the SEC on. Has asked that the NCAA please reconsider allowing pro sports betting for the NCAA athletes. What have we learned over the past little bit? It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
It's been a disaster.
And I
It's
know
getting worse.
I know the NCAA players are the same as just regular paid professional athletes. Pat Narduzzi, Pitt's head coach, also said the same thing. Do not remove the pro sports betting ban. It's one of the stupidest decisions we've ever seen. It's just another thing, by the way, that these coaches are going to have to deal with. It's going to be.
You're going to have all these athletes on DraftKings in the locker room during halftime.
You're already telling them to put their devices away and get off social media.
These are the most competitive people on the planet, and they think they know sports better than anybody. You know they're going to jump on this.
Even if they don't know sports better than anybody, they can maybe call a couple guys and maybe manipulate it.
I've talked to young people, may or may not be in my own house, that says, "Yeah, when I'm done with high school, I'm just gonna do sports betting."
School counselors everywhere are like, I'd reconsider something. Maybe, I don't know. No, I'm just gonna sports bet.
Well, there's young people that that's how I'm gonna make money.
I'm looking to be an entrepreneur. They're like, oh, really?
I'm
What
gonna
kind?
get really good at it.
I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. What kind? Sports betting. Just
professional sports gambler.
Obviously, I'm self-employed. Jeez. And then the worst. Sam Levitt looks like he is expected to miss that game against Iowa State this weekend after re-aggravating that injury against Houston. So they lost to Houston. They are 5-3 now on the season. They have 2 losses in conference play. They're going to Iowa State, by the way. One of those teams is going to be 5-4 by the end of the weekend, and you can't help but think it's going to be
Arizona State.
Because Iowa State's going to smell blood in the water, and they're going to want to get right after losing at home to BYU.
It just goes to show you how hard it is to win a championship, and it's even harder to repeat as the champ.
What's his name, the guy who replaces him? Jeff Sims. That guy is not good. Come on.
He's not going to be good enough to help him tread water. Now, the schedule lightens up after Iowa State. It's West Virginia, Colorado, Arizona. But if they don't win this weekend, they're toast.
But at that point, they'll have 3 conference losses.
They're toast. If they don't beat Iowa State, they have no chance, and they don't have the tiebreaker against Utah.
Nope. They need it. Yeah.
And they don't play BYU, and I don't believe they play Cincinnati this year. No.
Crazy. All right.
So yeah, they've got to win this week to stay alive at all.
Well, and then on top of it, it doesn't even matter what Jordan Tyson's situation is then either.
Right.
It's like Jordan Tyson's even like, just take me out too. Let me get right.
I think
this
the
week
Sun Devils are running on fumes right now.
Tough to go from reigning champs. You remember at Big 12 Media Days? And we were like, reigning champs, Kenny Dillingham joining us on it. He's like, please do not. We haven't done a thing this year. It's so hard to repeat. Please don't put that on us.
He knew. He remember at the start of the season when he was criticizing how bad they looked in camp.
Oh yeah, made him run gassers on the first day because they looked like they showed up.
We talked about. I mean, they're a good team. It's a good program, and Dillingham's doing a great job. But they really miss Cam Scadam.
Yeah. All right, we'll take another break here. We'll come back. We've got more around the corner. Going to remind you, 6:30 is when you're going to get the pregame for the Utah Mammoth. So stay right here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.